Smith. I'm here in the studio with Nazo Bravo. So, how you feeling today?
Chilling. How y'all doing?
I'm doing good.
All right.
So, I just heard your latest focus, and what's different about you is that you talk political rap. Would you like to talk to us about that?
Yeah, I mean, I got a wide variety of stuff that I do. My culture and letting people know about who I am and where I come from, my people, is definitely an element of my music. You know, that's why my label, my record label is called Mighty High Records, spelled Hye. High means Armenian. I'm Armenian.
So you rap in Armenian and English?
No, I rap in English. You know, in the future, I might be open to rapping in Armenian and trying it or something because, you know, there's a lot of people back in Armenia that know about me and show a lot of love, you know, online and everything from out there. So we'll see what happens.
Are you from Armenia or were you born in California?
I was born in Hollywood. I've never been to Armenia. My family's from Armenia, so like I grew up in an immigrant household. You know, I grew up in LA, but inside the house it was Armenia. That's what it felt like. So yeah.
And what inspired you to get into rapping?
I just love music. I just love rap. I love hip hop. I came into it as a fan. I don't have no family that's in music that like put me in music. Actually, my family, because they're immigrants, tried to advise me against it because it's like it's risky. What are you doing? You're crazy. You're never gonna make it in that type of thing. You know, my family. I got so much love for my family. They support me and everything, but they just don't feel comfortable with that type of thing. You know, so I just do it as a fan.
What was it? All right, you did as a fan. So, who are your favorite rappers?
You know, I'm from California, so I grew up, you know, loving like Dre, Snoop, of course, all the legends. Tupac, yeah,
amazing.
yeah. Tupac. I got a chance to meet Pac's brother Mo Preem. Shout out to Mo Preem. Got a chance to meet Big Syke from Thug Life, and that to me was like, it was amazing to have them know about me as an artist and hear my music and show love. To me was like, I couldn't believe it actually. So
You're more of a genre of like the late 1990s?
no, I studied the game all the way through from then to now. I mean, I'm a fan of the way I see it. Like whoever's been successful has been successful for a reason. So I study that. You know, there's things about Eminem that I've studied that it's like, man, there's a piece of this that I can incorporate into my thing. So wherever it makes sense, there's a lot of artists up until the newer artists like Kendrick, Drake, J. Cole, all those people, they're doing something right. People are feeling them for a reason, you know, so I pay attention to the game all the way through.
So, but Kendrick actually influenced one of your songs, correct?
Yes, High Power. I made a version of his song, High Power, HIII. I switched it to HYE, High Power, talking about my culture the same way he talks about his culture. And for me, it was based on a meeting I had with him. I talked to him for like an hour, and you know, I just asked him. He was a real cool dude, real humble, like a real person, you know. And I was just like, yo, what advice can you give to me? I'm an artist that's trying to come up. He's like, you know, he like thought about it. He's like, I would say, you know, find your own niche, and that just stuck with me, you know, because I was actually going through a point where I almost wanted to quit making music. I was working with some cats that ended up, you know, they weren't looking out for my best interests, and I got really fed up with the business, political side of the game, and I was like, man, I don't even know what I'm doing right now. I don't know if I want to make music. You know, I separated myself. I cut my losses. I kind of came back to my team, my homies, and we built from there. And I just by chance I met him, but I got a chance to talk to him. To me, it was a blessing, and I took that and I ran with it, and I made High Power.
Well, I hope you don't quit because you have real talent.
Thank you.
What's refreshing about your music is that you're not just, I mean, you talk about having sex with hot chicks, of course. I mean, there's a player in you. But
I'm a man. I mean, what can I say?
But you also have a lot of points. I mean, I saw the music video for High Power. It literally, like, after the first minute, it actually made me jump. It drew me in, and So you're not from Armenia. You are Armenian.
Yep.
What, I understand your family, but what really like made you become very passionate?
About my culture?
Correct.
You know, there's a big Armenian community out here. I mean, I grew up in an Armenian household. We were 9 people in one house, like with my grandparents, my sisters, like, I still grew up very Armenian-centric, you know what I mean? But I grew up in America, but I still grew up Armenian-centric, and the genocide, the Armenian genocide, the fact that it's still not recognized by the United States is something that doesn't sit well with any Armenian. So it's like a piece of history that's been lost. So what better platform than hip-hop to let the world know? Because hip-hop is, you know, hip-hop is where you could really get a message out in modern day.
And you said that it was like during the turn of the 20th century? For that's
Armenian
when...
genocide. Yeah, I mean, 1915 is the year that is really like the year that everyone knows it as. April 24, 1915 is the Memorial Day for the genocide, and there's a big march in several places around the world, including Hollywood. I performed this past April 24 at the El Rey Theater with Visa, and it's all, you know, we make sure that the world knows, at least on that day, that there was a genocide, and y'all need to recognize it.
And I understand, like, the song that's playing in the background, this is the one that you did with Problem, right?
The track I got with Problem, and I got shout out to the Kamikaze Clique, the Jones Boys. They're also on the track, and you know, the situation came about through them. Me, Jones produced the track. Much love to those cats.
How did you link up with them?
I linked up, so the situation came about through the producer, Me Jones, and his brother, Blue, and I'm an actor as well, so I met them through some film stuff. They're working on a film. And,
was this when you were working on Southland?
No, this was after Southland. I did Southland. That was a real good look with Lucy Liu. She's as good looking as in person as she is on camera. So
she is pretty hot on camera. So.
Yeah, she's hot, and like she was cool too. Like that was the first time I did a network TV show. You know, the set on the street, it was like 60 people on the street, cops, like everything closed off. It was crazy, and she was real cool. Like she was like, "Oh, this is your first time. Like, good job." You know what I mean? And
wait, Southland was your first time?
My first network television, where it's like it airs on TNT, and you know, 4 million people watch it, and so that was like my first thing. Because I started acting after the music. I do the acting to support the music. It's not like I'm a child actor or nothing. I mean, nothing against that, but that's not me. Like, I got into acting to support the music, you know, so, yeah. So that was my first thing. And then I met the Jones Brothers for this other film project, and they used to be signed to Sony, and they done a lot of stuff. So they feeling what I'm doing, and they gave me this, they invited me to this opportunity. And in exchange, I put on my mixtape.
Your music's very unique. What is your favorite song from your debut album?
My debut album, I'm wrapping up. My mixtape, I'm putting out very soon to just, you know, give the people something. My favorite song from my album is, man, that's a tough question. Probably it's called The Mighty High, and it's a really personal song. And it's a very beautiful song, like, it's a healing song for people, and I think whoever hears it, they get goosebumps, so that song means a lot to me. But off my mixtape, I got a lot of variety on my mixtape. So.
Oh, you're not putting My High on your mixtape?
I'm not, no, that's for the album, that comes later. But off my mixtape, man, I love the whole mixtape, and I think there's something for everybody. I'm even rapping on some house music, some EDM stuff, because that's big, you know what I mean? And to me, it's inspired by hip hop. It's still hip hop, just faster. And
well, dubstep's just double. You know.
Exactly. And that all comes from hip hop and the DJ. You know, if it wasn't for hip hop, there wouldn't be no DJ. So it's still hip hop, the way I see it.
All right. So you're rapping. You know, you do the traditional rap, and you're doing house music. Is there something that you're kind of like favoring or leaning more toward that you want to work on?
No, I mean, I think there's a place for both in my career, and you know, I got my team, the Cali Novas. Shout out to the Cali Novas. They're kind of more in charge of the house music, and you know, and they're the ones that kind of bring me, you know, this is hot in this scene right now, and whenever there's the right track, I'll get on the track. You know, one of the tracks is Just Blaze and Power, and you know, Just Blaze is even doing that stuff. So if Just Blaze is doing that and getting into house music, that means something. So you know, I'm rapping on that track. But at the end of the day, I'm a hip hop artist, and I'm doing hip hop, and I'm bringing hip hop to house. So.
And you said you entered this as a fan. So how did you do the transition? How did you become a fan and then start rapping?
I learned to rap before I knew how to rap. So basically, I would just rap along to other people's songs that I liked, and before I knew it.
You're not from Armenia. You are Armenian.
Yep.
What, I understand your family, but what really like made you become very passionate
About my culture?
Correct.
You know, there's a big Armenian community out here. I mean, I grew up in an Armenian household. We were 9 people in one house, like with my grandparents, my sisters, like, I still grew up very Armenian-centric, you know what I mean? But I grew up in America, but I still grew up Armenian-centric, and the genocide, the Armenian genocide, the fact that it's still not recognized by the United States is something that doesn't sit well with any Armenian. So it's like a piece of history that's been lost. So what better platform than hip-hop to let the world know? Because hip-hop is, you know, hip-hop is where you could really get a message out in modern day.
And you said that it was like during the turn of the 20th century for
the Armenian genocide. Yeah, I mean, 1915 is the year that is really like the year that everyone knows it as. April 24, 1915 is the Memorial Day for the genocide, and there's a big march in several places around the world, including Hollywood. I performed this past April 24 at the El Rey Theater with Visa, and it's all, you know, we make sure that the world knows, at least on that day, that there was a genocide, and y'all need to recognize it.
And I understand, like, the song that's playing in the background, this is the one that you did with Problem, right?
The track I got with Problem, and I got, shout out to the Kamikaze Clique, the Jones Boys. They're also on the track, and, you know, the situation came about through them. Me, Jones produced the track. Much love to those cats.
How did you link up with them?
I linked up, so the situation came about through the producer, Me Jones, and his brother, Blue, and I'm an actor as well, so I met them through some film stuff. They're working on a film. And,
was this when you were working on Southland?
No, this was after Southland. I did Southland. That was a real good look with Lucy Liu. She's as good looking as in person as she is on camera. So
she is pretty hot on camera. So.
Yeah, she's hot, and like she was cool too. Like that was the first time I did a network TV show. You know, the set on the street, it was like 60 people in the street, cops, like everything closed off. It was crazy, and she was real cool. Like she was like, "Oh, this is your first time. Like, good job." You know what I mean? And
wait, Southland was your first time?
My first network television, where it's like it airs on TNT, and you know 4 million people watch it, and so that was like my first thing. Because I started acting after the music. I do the acting to support the music. It's not like I'm a child actor or nothing. I mean, nothing against that, but that's not me. Like, I got into acting to support the music, you know, so, yeah. So that was my first thing, and then I met the Jones Brothers for this other film project, and they used to be signed to Sony, and they done a lot of stuff, so they feeling what I'm doing, and they gave me this, they invited me to this opportunity, and in exchange, I put on a mixtape.
Your music's very unique. What is your favorite song from your debut album?
My debut album, I'm wrapping up. My mixtape, I'm putting out very soon to just, you know, give the people something. My favorite song from my album is, man, that's a tough question. Probably it's called The Mighty High, and it's a really personal song. And it's a very beautiful song, like, it's a healing song for people, and I think whoever hears it, they get goosebumps, so that song means a lot to me. But off my mixtape, I got a lot of variety on my mixtape. So
Oh, you're not putting My High on your mixtape?
I'm not. No, that's for the album. That comes later. But off my mixtape, man, I love the whole mixtape, and I think there's something for everybody. I'm even rapping on some house music, some EDM stuff, because that's big. You know what I mean? And to me, it's inspired by hip hop. It's still hip hop, just faster. And
Well, dubstep's just double.
yeah, exactly. And that all comes from hip hop and the DJ. You know, if it wasn't for hip hop, there wouldn't be no DJ. So it's still hip hop, the way I see it.
Alright, so you're rapping, you do the traditional rap and you're doing house music. Is there something that you're kind of like favoring or leaning more toward that you want to work on?
No, I mean, I think there's a place for both in my career. And, I got my team, the Cali Novas. Shout out to the Cali Novas. They're kind of more in charge of the house music. And, they're the ones that kind of bring me, this is hot in this scene right now. And whenever there's the right track, I'll get on the track. One of the tracks is Just Blaze and Bauer. And, Just Blaze is even doing that stuff. So if Just Blaze is doing that and getting into house music, that means something. So, I'm rapping on that track. But at the end of the day, I'm a hip-hop artist, and I'm doing hip-hop, and I'm bringing hip-hop to house. So.
And you say you entered this as a fan. So how did you do the transition? How did you become a fan and then start rapping?
I learned to rap before I knew how to rap. So basically, I would just rap along to other people's songs that I liked, and before I knew it...
You just stayed on beat?
Yeah, I was able to rap. That's how I was able to rap. I would just pick up words. Some people listen to music.
It stopped again. Yeah, we can just...
Go with the audio
Yeah,
first.
go with it.
Okay.
So...
Some people, when they listen to music...
Yeah.
They're able to pick up words, and some people can't ever do that. They make their own words to the song, But for me, I was just able to pick up the words. And
who did you used to rap to?
Tupac. Yeah, I love that shit. I love it.
So that's where you get that deep, raspy voice. Because when I listen to your SoundCloud, I was expecting an African American man, and then when I read your bio and saw, I was like Armenian. I'm thinking maybe he's Armenian mix. And then I looked and I was like, no, wow, okay.
LA is a place where there's all types of cultures. You go 20 miles one way, and you're in a very dangerous place, and you go 20 miles the other way, and you're in Disneyland. So, I've been able to kind of mix with different cultures. I've been to the hood.
Especially you grew up in Hollywood, and Hollywood is a smorgasbord of everyone.
Well, I was born in Hollywood. I grew up in the San Fernando Valley, and but I got people, in the area. There's Armenians all over LA, and that flavor that I bring, the black culture, black soul, that just comes from being out in the hood and really seeing life out there.
How long have you been rapping for now? Well, professionally.
Yeah. I've been seriously, I've been doing it for like 4 years, where it's like, this is my life. This is what I'm doing every day. This is when I go to sleep. This is what I'm thinking about. When I wake up, this is what I'm thinking about.
Well, that's the way it should be.
Yeah, and the last 2 years is when I formed Mighty High Records, and I've been doing everything as an independent team. Like, we're doing it ourselves. We're not trying to chase a label and conform to what we think a label wants in hopes of them possibly looking at us. Because at that point, you go crazy. You're chasing something that is not defined. So you have no idea.
Following the hype.
Exactly. But when you do you, there's nobody like you, because every person is unique in the world. So when you do you and you stay true to yourself, it's been said a million times, but it's been said a million times for a reason. If you stay true to yourself, can't nobody touch you.
And your music, how long you act to support music? So the acting has been in 4 years, within the last 4 years as well.
Yeah. The moment I realized that I should continue with it, so I wanted, in my mind I was like, I'll make it as a rapper and then I'll get into acting like a lot of rappers do. But it wasn't like happening as fast as I thought it would, of course. This stuff is not easy. And So I kind of started putting some of the same hustle I do in music, and I put in acting, and I got cast for a Jada Kiss music video, and like I got a chance to meet Kiss. I was on set with him. It was crazy, and I was on MTV. I was on BET, and like, you know, if you watch it, you're like, it's not like 80 people and like my face is in the corner. Like, it was a shot where it's just me.
You were featured.
Yeah, I was featured. Yeah, exactly. And like, I was like, man, I got on MTV and BET through acting way earlier than I did through music. You know, so I gotta stick to this. So, you know, I got an agent, I got a manager. It's not like I'm pursuing it the same way I'm doing the music. It's like when they have something for me, I'll go out and do it. But there's always, you know, like with the Southland, that was a good look. And they used my clip. They used my clip in the promo for the season. So, like, it was playing in between basketball, NBA games, and everything.
You gotta send that to me so I can be able to upload that to the article as
yeah,
well.
it's a dope-ass scene. I get punched in the face.
Wait, you must like getting punched in the face.
No,
on High Power,
I don't.
No.
Trust me, I don't like getting punched in the face.
When you listen and watch High Power, you're gonna see Nazo. First thing, he's getting beat up. So you must like getting beat up.
Okay, so I'll actually explain that one, because I did have a choice in that, right? I didn't have a choice in the Southland one. That's what the producers and writers say. I'm not gonna go on the set and be like, I know it says I'm supposed to get punched, but I don't like that, so can you change it? No, but for High Power, to me, it's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for the genocide, the massacre of all my ancestors who got.
How many people died during
1.5 million.
45.
1.5 million Armenians were massacred, but they wanted to take out the entire, all Armenians.
Yeah.
That's why there's Armenians all over the world, because we escaped. There's Armenians in Argentina. I got family in Argentina. I got family in Greece, or we went. Well, my grandparents were in Greece. I got family in France. There's Armenians everywhere. There's an Armenian church almost in every country, or if not every country. I forget the statistic, but that's because of the genocide.
Why do you think that, like, I'm Jewish, and why do you think that, like, the Jewish culture is, like, when they speak of our genocide, it's kind of like a world-known thing, where with the Armenian is not as publicized? Why do you think?
There's a long answer to that, and there's a short answer, and there's many answers to it. My first initial response to that would be, you know, they've been able to, Jews have been able to establish themselves in America, and, you know, media is a very powerful thing. And there's several movies like Schindler's List that have been made. And Schindler's List was written by an Armenian.
Huh.
Stephen Zalian.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and you know, it's crazy, and more props to them, more power to the Jewish culture. They let it be known, and that's something that I've said in the earlier song, that there's something that Armenians can learn from the Jews, and some Armenians don't like hearing that, but the truth of the matter is, you know, there is something that can be learned, and what I'm doing with High Power and with music and Mighty High Records, I'm letting people know about who I am. You know what I mean? I'm not going to talk about the genocide in every song. I'm not going to shove it down your throat. But I'm going to let you know that I'm Armenian. This is where I come from. This is part of my history. But I'm also a human being, you know, and I like talking about everything. I like talking about women. I like talking about cars.
Yeah, we hear that in your music.
So you know, I'm a human being at the end of the day, but that is something that people need to know about.
And do you have any upcoming shows coming up?
We're working on some shows. We're putting together a promotional campaign for my mixtape, #Focus with 3 S's. Supports my single Focus, which is on the radio right now. Over like 80 stations, FM stations throughout the country. It's been featured on All Hip Hop.
And on Power 106 as well.
Power 106, Who's Next competition. This year I entered. I ended up number 8th out of 1,600 artists.
But you entered late as well, correct?
Yeah, like it's something that my cousin just called me. He's like, yo, you heard this thing? I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, there's this contest on Power 106. I'm like, oh, shit. So we got on that, and it was a good look. You know, Yessie Ortiz, when I talked to her at the club the other day, she was like, you know, I remember you from that. Like, it's a good look. DJ E-Man, shout out to DJ E-Man. Everyone at Power 106 is cool as hell, and my goal is to continue to build in that arena and really put it down in LA and build in LA, even though people say it's hard. I got a magazine that I'm going to be on the cover of, my first magazine cover, Glendale Magazine Physical. It's a first issue. They're going to send out 30,000 physical copies throughout
What
Glendale.
is that about, that magazine?
The magazine is about, I think it's just about Glendale. Glendale is like one of the biggest. It's the
Places
biggest
for Armenians.
Yeah,
I know.
in the United States, and it's not just about Armenians. It's just about people in Glendale. And there's a diverse culture there, and it's just about people doing their thing. There's entrepreneurs, there's businesses, cars, fashion.
Nice.
So it's a good look. It'll go well with the mixtape that's gonna drop soon before the end of the year, definitely. And yeah.
And this is your first mixtape, but before this, you toured with the West Coast with Corrupt and everybody, right?
I was on a tour with them. Yeah, I opened up. I also did the Key Club with the Dog Pound. That was a good look. Definitely got to do some more shows. I've been talking to Mopreem to possibly do a show with Thug Life or Mopreem and possibly other members.
Tupac's brother.
Mopreem
Yeah.
Shakur is Pac's brother, and that dude, I got so much respect for him, and he's shown me a lot of love, and it's good people.
So that's pretty amazing that you like toured with the legends, and then now you're coming out with the novel with your
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's one thing to kind of see what's out there and soak up that game, but at the end of the day, to be your own artist, you have to make hot music. You could be around the stars, but if you don't figure out who you are as an artist, it doesn't mean anything. That's why a lot of artists that come up under other artists never are able to establish themselves, because you got to find your own lane, and to me that's like one of the most valuable things that I've been able to accomplish in my career so far, is find out my own lane and who I am and what makes me different, what makes me interesting. I think every artist needs to really think about that, and it doesn't come. There's no shortcut to that. There's no shortcut to knowing who you are as an artist. There's no shortcut to like Eminem didn't just like wake up and create Slim Shady and all that when he first came out. That came from years of figuring himself out and like failing. You know what I mean? So it takes a lot of failure to figure out what you do and what you don't do. And to me, part of like performing with Dog Pound and all that stuff, that was part of it. It was towards the end of it where I really figured out this is me, this is what I'm doing, and then we did the album.
What's been your hardest moment in your career so far?
The hardest moment of my career is, like I said, that the time where I kind of separated myself from my previous situation and really didn't know where I was going, because that was after 2 years of kind of chasing what you think the label is going to want. But you were in that situation. I was in that game where it's like,
sign me, right?
Please, and I put my faith in somebody who I thought could deliver on more than they said they could, and after that, it was like, I have to do this myself. I can't depend on somebody. Before, I just wanted to be an artist. I didn't want to be a CEO. I'm CEO of my label, and shout out to my manager, Greg Cross. Like, he gave me the game. He put game in my brain, and he's managed MC Ren and Dana Dan and a bunch of people at Ruthless Records. So
how did you two hook up?
Through my cousin Jack. And he's the president of my label. Jack's family, he's like my literal cousin. He's like an older brother to me, as far as like my pops having a hand in raising him. So he's like a big brother to me, and through him I met Greg, and we formed Mighty High Records, and he was like, Nazo, you got to be your own boss. You got to be your own boss. You got to control your own content. And before, I didn't think that way. I didn't like it. I was like, man, I don't care about that stuff. I just want to rap. But at the end of the day, this is the music business. This is not the music.
That's where a lot of people mess up.
Yeah, this is not the music hobby or the music
it's amazing
talent show.
Yeah, it's amazing how there's some artists out there who I'm not gonna name names, but they made bad business decisions. You hear their music all over the place, and they're getting screwed on points and royalties.
Exactly. I was just talking to some guy I'm working with about an artist that he's gonna pick up that just worked on something that sold millions of copies and he never got paid.
He's famous, but he's not rich.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right.
Exactly. And then there's artists that come out and they disappear because something happened at the label. So I don't like that. I don't like being at the mercy of
somebody else's
emotions. Because no one's gonna care about your stuff the way you are. No one's gonna care about, Jay-Z when they did Rockefeller and all that stuff. They were putting out their own stuff, and
Jay-Z's amazing. Like
there's a lot to learn from his hustle.
He has a business aspect down, and he's a great producer. Like his beats, it's
he's one of the best lyricists of all time. And there's really not much you can say about that besides tip your hat to him. And yeah, exactly. So, and the same thing with Baby and Cash Money and all those cats and Master P. Like they all hustled. And for me, I'm not saying I'm closed off to the idea of working with a major, but even now majors want you to have your own situation in place, and then they partner up with you. So I'm cool with that. Someone asked me, will you sign a deal with a major? Depends on the deal. It depends on the deal. It always depends on the deal. Just because you sign doesn't mean anything. I know an artist signed to Interscope that
you still have to do your own hustle.
Yeah, they've done 300 songs, but they're not coming out yet. And it's like, what's that about? I don't want to do that.
How much time do you spend in your own recording studio? How much are you on the grind? How many hours a day?
Because
do you ever sleep?
I sleep a little. Not as much as I would like to, of course. I would like to see my family more than I do, but at the end of the day, I'm doing business. I find myself doing business more than music at this point because, well, first of all, the music's done. At least my mixtape and my album. I want to actually get on my next project and have another project done by the end of the year. That's my goal. Just in the can, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because once the thing takes off the way you plan it to, there's going to be a demand that you need to continue to be able to supply and keep people engaged. So, getting there is one thing and staying there is another thing. So, I definitely have plans of recording another project, whether it's a mixtape and another album, or some.
Are you planning a tour to launch it? Is that what's in the works?
Well, I'm definitely planning some type of campaign to support the mixtape and just seeing where that goes. We have some sponsorship things that we're looking into. I am in negotiations for a liquor deal that we'll see.
Which liquor company?
It's the same company that does Ice-T's OGXO brandy. So I'm actually working to develop my own custom brand.
So we might be drinking Nazo.
Something that was brought to you by Nazo. I'm not going to say the name of the product just yet because
it's still in the works.
It's still in the works, exactly. And but yeah, so
you're not going to give me the scoop.
I will let you know once you turn this thing off.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then what else did I want to talk? Oh, I wanted to also bring up. You mentioned that you went to college. Are you still in school, or did you?
No, I'm done with school.
What was your major?
I did business management, and I did.
So it makes sense that you're a CEO.
Yeah, I did business management, and I actually did computers, which is, at the time. At the time, I was like, okay, but at the end of the day, nowadays, everything is digital, so it actually gives me an advantage to know about that and not get ripped off if someone's doing something for me.
And where did you go to school at?
I went to school, Irvine, UC Irvine.
Oh, okay. So you graduated with your bachelor's?
Bachelor's, yeah.
Are you going to ever go back for your master's degree, or
I don't need to. I don't think I need to because, after that, I just learn by doing. I don't like being in school, really. I know what I want, so for me it's hard to be in school. I know what I want. There's a lot of people who spend time, which is nothing wrong against it, but there's people who would spend their whole life in school if they could. Because,
okay, I'm one of those people.
No, I mean, and I think that's cool, but it's not for me. The school world there's something really nice about school. Like,
there's some people who want to go and play the game. There's some people who like to learn. What I like about school is I like learning. So I usually take courses that are challenging to me.
no, that's dope. And
But
I think
it's hard to take like with you. Like I can imagine, it's like it's hard to take courses that you are familiar with a topic because it's like you're already telling me what I already know. We're preaching to the choir, so I get that.
yeah, I mean, there's always something to be learned, but for me, it's committing to something like that at this point. I can't do it.
Okay, so right now you're doing the business aspect.
Yeah.
You're going to be dropping your debut album pretty soon.
I'm gonna drop my debut album when the time is right. You know, if I wanted to, I could wrap it up and put it out soon. But at this moment, I'm dropping a mixtape to build, just to continue to build.
Your fan base?
Yeah, my base, and from there, either I'm gonna put out my album or I'm gonna put out another mixtape.
And are you going to be recording the music video for Focus anytime soon?
We're planning that. We'll see what happens. I want it to be something good. I don't want it to be something that's just put together like a typical video.
Because that's your main song, and that's like a very popular one too. Well,
Yeah.
that's made on your website and the one
Yeah.
that like you hear first.
Yeah. So I'm brainstorming some ideas and you know, we'll see what happens.
So what made you decide to record Focus? What wasn't the...
That song, like, for me, the idea always comes from the beat. So the beat gives me the idea. The beat to me is like the...
Do you make your own beats too? Or?
I don't make my own beats. Shout out to Corey Simon, my producer. He's worked with T.I., Macy Gray, Exhibit, Boys in the Hood. So like, when Greg put me in touch with Corey, the people that I was working with were all more experienced than me in the business, you know?
Yeah.
They done more in the business. My engineer, shout out to Ariel Shobaz, he does all of Nicki's stuff. He's worked with everybody. Justin Bieber, everybody. So, like, that's why the product sounds so clean on top of the production.
Yeah, your music, like the music video for James Bond, High Power, they're very, like, being in an independent label, like, they're very high quality.
Thank you.
And
like,
your sound's high quality, too.
everything's about quality to me. Like, I want it to be something that's just how I am.
It doesn't sound like it was recorded in a closet.
Exactly. And you know, we've been there, and it's about, like, I've spent a lot of time perfecting my craft. And there's people that hit me up now, like on Instagram and on Facebook and on Twitter, like, yo, sign me, and what, you know, I want to work, I want to do this, and it's like, okay, well, you know, I'll ask them, like, do you have anything online? It's like, no, I've never been in a studio, I'm ready to work. And it's like, well, bro, he's like, my advice to you would be start making music, like, start recording with your homies. There's nothing stopping you, you know.
If you have a laptop, you can record.
Exactly. The way it is now, you could start recording and building your own situation.
Even with your cell phone, with the iPhone, with some of them. I've seen people rap on their iPhones. They're like, yeah.
It's crazy. There's no excuse at this point. And the whole, someone's going to discover me and I'm going to be...
no, you got to put your work in. You got to pay your dues.
That is not a reality.
Yeah.
It's
like,
not a reality.
Yeah.
So, unless you're like, you know, you have family in the business or something, but...
Even family in the business, like, those people don't have longevity. If you don't put in your own hustle and you don't put in your own work, because I've known cats that have deep connections and they put in their work and because when things are handed to you, when it gets tough, because it's going to get tough for all of us, those are the ones that disappear.
Yeah.
Like, I see, like, the struggle, I see the passion. Like, when I first heard your music, it caught my attention. So I see you. I can hear you on the radio.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, especially about the part of what scratches on your back.
You know, I had someone come up to me after a show, and she was like,
"I want to scratch your back."
She said, "Do you really have scratches on your back?" And I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Can I see them?" I was like, you know, it was a funny moment. It was a funny moment. I mean, she was an
She was an interesting fan.
Interesting fan. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess that line really resonates with people.
Yeah, it just catches women's attention.
Yeah.
I have one more question. Your favorite moment as a rapper? The moment where you're like, yeah, I'm feeling it.
I love performing. Because, right before you perform, you start thinking about all this shit. Like, damn, what if this happened? But at the end of the day, I just remember, like, I'm going to just go up there and rap. I love rapping. Like, before I would just rap. Like, that's where it started from. This is fun. Like, I love doing this. And I love performing. I love when I have a song idea where I'm like, where I come up with it or we come up with it with the team. It's just like, damn, I love this. This is so dope. This is going to make somebody feel this way. You know what I mean? Like when I wrote Scratches on My Back, that made me laugh. I laughed. I was like, that shit is funny. So I'm going to keep that. And that's what makes, someone laugh. So, or it gets their attention. So when you're able to come up with something like that is really, it's like exciting. It's fun. And I love performing too. And getting feedback from people, people saying, keep doing what you're doing. We got your back from Argentina. We got your back from LA. We got, wherever. From the East Coast, like when people show love, that makes you feel like all the stress and the bullshit that comes with it is worth it.
And what would you say you want people to feel after listening to your mixtape? What do you want someone to feel? I
want them to send me a check for $1,000. No, I'm kidding. What do I want? I just want people to be like, damn, this is not a dude that's just got a couple hot songs. Like, this guy could put together a body of work because, I'm going to say it right now. My album, to me, is a masterpiece. And those are bold words, but it means so much to me. So can't nobody say nothing about that. And I put my heart into it. And the mixtape is just kind of a preview, and it lets you know that, hey, I am able to put together a body of work, and I do have something to say, and I'm able to do a lot of different things. One of the things I loved about Tupac is he was able to make a song for every type of mood you could be in.
What's your favorite Tupac song?
That's a tough question. I would probably say Me and My Girlfriend. That's probably...
I like that one, but then...
he's got too many.
Passion... Oh my god, I love that Passion too. I used to drink Alizé because of him.
Exactly.
Actually, that's how I got pregnant with my daughter.
Oh, yeah?
That song. I'm going to keep it real.
Hey, there you go.
Too much Alizé one night.
Good music gives people new lives, So your daughter should love that song because she's born out of it.
Yeah, I don't listen to it anymore. I only have one kid now.
Yeah.
So...
That's good to know. I'm going to be careful with that song.
Alizé, right?
Yeah, that song and yeah. I might have a kid or something.
But me and my girlfriend, that song, I mean, it's like...
I just love that song because, you know what it is? Like, I think your favorite songs are songs that really get you are the ones where you say, damn, I wish I was in the studio when they made that. You know what I mean? I wish I was in the studio when they made that song. And some people have said that about a couple of my songs, which blows my mind, but it's dope. But I wish I was, it's like, it makes you think, like, you could kind of see him making the song. Like, that's the way I see it. You could see him performing it in the booth, and it's just like, that song to me has so much pain in it, so much fire. And,
what do you think about when they did the Coachella and they had the
hologram?
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy. I thought I think technology's come a long way, and I'm sure a lot of people who were there who were fucked up must have gotten, started praying to God or something, or tripped out. Because if I didn't know about it and I saw it, I would be like, whoa, what the fuck is going on,
Right.
I think...
Imagine buying a hologram and you're just chilling with Tupac in your living room.
That's weird. It's weird, though. It kind of takes away the magic, but it also brings magic to it. I mean, imagine going to a whole concert where it's like...
Nothing but holograms? And
Yeah, exactly. You got Elvis singing background vocals on Biggie's something, Sky's the Limit or whatever. I don't know. That would be, it's crazy, and maybe that's where we're headed. Maybe
Maybe you'll be in a studio and then you're actually performing in Houston and in LA. I mean, but then it takes away the magic that you feel, the energy too, because that's the high too, right? You're in your flow when you're in front of your audience.
I used to perform way better live in front of people than I would do in the booth, and I had to develop that. And I was like, and that's part of why I took acting, because acting allows you to tap into an energy immediately. You know what I mean? Like, if you think of acting is a lot harder than people think. Like, if you need to be able to get angry on cue, if you need to be able to laugh on cue, because let's say you got to do something like 5 times, 10 times to do a take, or cry on cue, like that is not easy. But in that process, when you study that, you learn about yourself. And I was able to take the energy of I would feel when I'm performing for you live and immediately do that in the booth. And that's when I started sounding better recorded. I used to sound a lot better live than recorded, and that's what I had to develop.
Oh, so you are actually in the mindset of your emotions. I've been in the studio. I've watched some rappers that they'll put it down quick, and they're not feeling it. But then their energy changes when they're on stage. So you give the same energy inside the booth that you would on stage, because that's really unique.
It depends on the song, but you need to be able to tap into it immediately.
So it's like a mini concert in here then.
Yeah, it depends on the track. But most important of all from that whole thing is knowing because your body is an instrument. Your body's an instrument, so you have to be able to know how to control your instrument. I don't play the piano, I don't play the guitar, but my voice is my instrument, and I'm able to control that and play it the way I want to. And I think that is something I had to develop over time. But when it's live, you just go off the energy. You know what I mean? You just go off, there's all these people looking at you and waiting for you and cheering and everything. And at that point, it's like do or die. You have to do it. You know what I mean? There's not even feeling nervous about it. It's just like, all right, it's go time. Like, you know what I mean? Whereas when you're in the studio, you can do it 1,000 times and mess up and no one cares.
And re-record.
Exactly, but when you're doing it live, it's like, that's that one time, you know what I mean? It's like theater, so, yeah.
And is there anything else you want to add or anything you want to talk about?
I was just going to say, hit me up. Everybody out there, hit me up. Check out my mixtape. Hit me on Twitter. Go to my website, nazobravo.com, and holla at me. I'll hit you back. And thank you to everybody who supports me.
Thank you. And thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you for the interview.
Thank you. And this is Lucky. I'm out.